Hello, everybody. Chris with Night of Living Card Games back again. In my last few days, at least I suspect, of my Legacy of the Ancestors campaign. So we are up to day 18. We made our way to the cage, saw it was a giant heart that is having problems, and we got to try to figure out how to make it better. So I am going to try to come up to the Arboretum of Memory, try to gather some information, hopefully on how to fix the problem, and then race back down and hopefully be able to take care of it. So in the last one, I managed to get up to Talpid Squeeze. And now we start a new day, however, with some news. Something is very wrong. The earthquakes happen nearly constantly now, sometimes mere moments apart. The arcology beneath the valley seems to almost cry out in pain. Whatever else you were focusing on seems to pale in comparison to the importance of this cry. The time for research or exploration is past, and you will need to take action if you are going to stop this. All right. So now, let me draw my opening hand. I'm putting repellent spores out as a setup, so bold, that's good. Cordo's Instinct, Following Footsteps, Stout-Hearted Guardian, Expedition Logbook, and a Gauze Blade. Okay, bold, sticking. Stout-Hearted Guardian, staying. Cordo's Instinct, I think, is staying. I will pitch those three and draw three more. Ooh, one of my Emberlings. Another Gauze Blade, and a Dear Friend. Okay. So while I do have a Stout-Hearted Guardian, I don't have an aid card that I can bring out to give myself to start my fatigue. My fatigue game. So, all right. Got my deck shuffled back up. All right, looking at Talpid Squeeze. For the past few hours, you've been following passages deeper than anything you found yet. You've been tracing power conduits, data linkages, and clusters of clear pipes full of thick, gurgling liquids in varying hues of green, blue, and deep arterial crimson. Guess I know why. But your exploration come to a halt when the shaft you're climbing ends in a clump of splintered rocks and twisted composite wall paneling. The damage seems recent. You suspect that an earthquake must have caused this. You need to find a way to clear the rubble in order to proceed. And because I came from the cage, as you make your way to your destination, the slithering vines unfurl around you, once more blocking your descent. You'll have to clear out these vines somehow if you wish to take this route again. So I have to go put an overgrown passage, put it into play. Isn't going to matter for this case because I'm not trying to go back to the cage. All right, Talpid Squeeze, Lead Ranger, draw a path card. Path card is Overgrown Vestiges. Ooh, it's an obstacle. Wonderful. All right, and we flip this over, and as a reminder, Talpid Squeeze is a 2 presence, 3 per ranger progress, and it comes in with 2 debris, and it says if there are 1 or more debris on this location, you cannot travel. And I do focus and conflict 2 to disassemble the pile of collapsed rubble to discard 1 debris from this location for every 2 effort. All right. That comes in with 2. All right, well, this is coming out the door with an obstacle is not great news. The bright side is it is a flora feature, which means I can exhaust to give myself extra effort there. All right, let us spend 2 spirit. Let's just get the Stout-Hearted Guardian out. We are going to exhaust and spend a spore. And because that just says when you interact with the flora. So I'm going to try to traverse it. So 2 plus I get an extra 2. So total of 4 on there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. So 4 on 1. Oh, +1. Perfect. So that is 5 progress. All right, Blue Mountain. Nothing here. Here, however, if there is at least 1 debris on this location, discard all progress from an active feature. If at least 2 progress were discarded, discard 1 debris. Okay, well. All right, this one says, if this feature is illuminated, add progress to it. Unfortunately, it is not illuminated. I am going to try to look at my deck. So 1 to 1. -1, I fail. This one, I have to spend an energy. I'll spend that. Nothing else with the yellow challenge effect. And nothing else I can really do right now. So I will end my turn and rest. Cannot travel, so we will be refreshing. Drawing a new card here. Another copy of Stout-Hearted Guardian. Top of the round, we draw a new path card. It is another Overgrown Vestiges. Oh, great. So I got 2 obstacles in my way to get out of here. Good news, good news. All right, well, let's do the same thing we did last time. 4 versus 1. 0, I succeed. 4 progress. Yellow Sun, I have to spend an energy. We will spend an awareness. Let's try to take a look at my deck. Hey, +2, so, or +1, so I get to look at 2 cards. We got a Quiet and a Cassendi Technique. I'm going to put these both on the bottom and draw the top card in hopes that it's an aid card. Well, it's a bold, so that's not terrible. So that is that. Red crest, there's no red crest out here. So that is going to be my turn. Yeah, because I got nothing of value to do with the energy I have left. So we are going to rest, refresh, draw a card. It's my other Quiet. New path card. Not another obstacle, please. Oh, it is Capacitive Leech. Okay, well. Oh man, I just realized. Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. We are going to spend 2 fitness to get out an Emberling. So again, Emberling was the reward card from the Incandescent Sky event. It is a 2 fitness being, biomeld, and companion. Has a presence of 2, no hit points or no progress to it. It is friendly, persistent, and does have illumination. And it has a test on it, Spirit plus Conflict 2, to release the Emberling and attach its being to a non-water feature. Hey, look, overgrown trails and stuff are not features, or not water features. And then on refresh, add 2 harm to it. So, all right, so I am now going to do this test. So I'm going to go 3 versus 2. +1, I succeed. So I'm going to attach him to this guy here. This one over here. All right, Blue Mountain. Well, Blue Mountain says I discard all progress from a feature to remove a debris token, so that's something. This area is now illuminated because the Emberling is there, so I get to put 1 progress on both of these. And now here, if there's an active predator, there is not. All right, I am going to scout my deck again. 1 versus 1. -1, I fail. Yellow Sun, I'll spend an energy. Nothing here. Discard one unique token from a machine or tech. Add 1 power to this being. Unfortunately, that is tech. So I do have to do that. All right, nothing else for me to do there. So I am going to rest. Cannot travel. So now refresh phase. Refresh phase coming down here. Nothing happens. Nothing with the missions here. Deal 2 damage to the feature. Hey, there's only 2 hit points on there. So the Emberling was going and checking out the overgrown vestiges and burned it up. Now we will get our stuff back, draw a card. It is the Expedition Logbook. And we get a new path card. Humming Circuits comes in with 2 power. 0 presence, that's all that really matters to me. All right, so we are going to spend 2 energy to get Quiet out. Quiet is now going to drive off the Capacitive Leech, doing 3 damage to it and taking 1 harm in return. I'm now going to do the Emberling test, 3 versus 2. Again, this is a presence of 0, so I do not need to fatigue myself. 0, I succeed, so the Emberling is now attached to that overgrown vestiges. Red crest, no red crest out. And let us scout my deck. 0, so I succeed. On top is Following Footsteps, as nice as that is. I'm going to put that on the bottom. Expedition Logbook. Okay. But that is a Blue Mountain. Here, I don't... If there's 1 or more debris on this location, you cannot... If there's at least 1 debris on this location, there is not. This, it is illuminated, so we do get a progress, and nothing over here. I shall end my turn. I shall rest. We cannot travel, so we're in refresh phase, coming down from the top. 2 damage to this obstacle. It is discarded. Ready up. Energy back. Draw a card. Pakoto. Nice. Right. And now we draw a card. Oh, we have got a Moment of the Path. Glowing Gnat Cloud. You hear a faint buzzing from up ahead. Then you see a tiny glowing dot. Then another. Then another. Soon, there is a cloud of the minuscule glowing gnats swarming around your head, turning you into a beacon of light in the darkness. I must choose. A, I'd prefer to remain in the shadows. Do fitness plus conflict 2 to shoo the gnats away to discard this moment. If you fail, resolve option B. Option B, let them be. Attach this moment to a being or feature within reach. It gains illumination. And then it actually has a test on it, a Blue Mountain challenge effect. The gnats swarm to a new target. Attach this moment to another feature or being. Well, this is a feature, so we'll just put it, actually, we're going to put it on quiet. Because then this way, my within reach is illuminated as well. All right, so we are going to do bold, 2 fitness, and yeah, let's go all in. We're going to do bold, expedition logbook, and 2 fitness. So that is a 5 versus a 2. 0, I succeed with 5 progress. Blue Mountain, nothing. No debris. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Oh no, so this does actually move. So, guess let's go into the humming circuit. After all. Then I will spend 2 to get Pakoto out. Let's try to connect with Pakoto 1-1. 0, I succeed. Yellow Sun, spend an energy. I will spend an awareness. Nothing, 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 nothing. Here, powered 1, which there is. Add 1 power to the machine with the least power. Well, that is you. Right, I am going to choose to end my turn, and because I have enough progress on the location, I am going to travel. I am going to come up through the flooded ruins to the Arboretum of Memory. So I will get that set up and be right back. All right, I've got everything set up, and we are at the Arboretum of Memory. The rounded chambers of the Arboretum of Memory are not the largest or the most awe-inspiring spaces you've found within the Arcology. However, something about the solemnity of the groves hushes your voices and leads you to walk quietly beneath the towering giants. The trees of the copse are each multi-trunked giants, growing out of a joined root structure and reaching close to the curved and gently glowing ceilings many meters above you. Here they merge again into a thicket of leafy branches. Otherwise, the trunks are smooth, save for the curves of the wood and the faint ridges of the outer bark. You head deeper into the chambers, and soon you start to find live trees outnumbered by dead ones whose upper branches have been pruned back to stumps like monstrous fig trees. You look closer and are surprised to find that the trees aren't dead, they're actually petrified. Some mystery of the Estians has turned the towering trunks to stone, a process that should have taken ages to complete. You study the ancient Estian text carved into the walls of the chamber, and using the translation Solaro taught you, you realize with a start that this is an Estian data storage facility. Somehow the Estians stored yottabytes of information into the structures of each tree. Then, when the trees were fully grown, induced petrification to preserve the information forever. You look at these massive copse of petrified and living trees, and you wonder just how many secrets this place holds. If you are on the mission to the heart of it, which I am, goated out one, you study the petrified giants, trying to figure out how to read information from their stone hearts. This is probably the best place to find useful information regarding the founding of the Arcology, and hopefully the trees will tell you more about the creation of its heart. What was, and is, its purpose? Why did the Estians create it? You just hope the information lies hidden within the ancient trees. All right. So, taking a look here on arrival, search the path deck for the next flora and put it into play. Well, there we go. Petrified Colossus. Let's take a look at the Petrified Colossus entry. Alright, this tree looms above its fellows in the grove. Unlike the trees on the outer edges, this is fully petrified, with the branches above the tree's crown having long since broken free. And perhaps they were cut free, you wonder as you look closer, because the stumps seem smooth and regular. You inspect the stone, and as you do, you see small grooves running up and down the trunks. It's as if something has climbed up and down the trunks so often that it has worn channels into the rock surfaces. Perhaps if you can find that something, you can learn more about these trees and their purpose. So, looking at the Petrified Colossus, it is a 3 presence, 7 harm, 4 progress threshold. The feature enters play exhausted. It does not ready during the refresh phase. And it says, Blue Mountain Challenge effect, if there is an active prey, it hides behind the Colossus, exhaust that prey. Okay, well, there's no entry on clearing it, so just comes in exhausted, I guess. All right, flipping this over, looking at the Arboretum of Memory, it is a 2 progress, 5 per ranger progress threshold, and it has a test. Spirit plus knowledge 2. Reflect on your memories and experience to return a card from your hand to your collection. Choose a starting moment or attachment from your collection that you meet the aspect requirement for and add it to your hand. This alteration to your deck is permanent. So we could swap out a card if needed. Okay. Interesting, but that is what it is. So we are now we've done the travel, so now we are on the refresh phase. Energy back. This does not ready on refresh. Make sure that did read that. It does not ready during the refresh phase. Yep. And we draw a card. It is deliberate. Top of the round, we draw a new card. Oh, good. The Veiled Axolotl. Unfortunately, because my Emberling is over there, this does have ambush, so it ambushes me for 2. Shame. All right. My turn. All right. I'm going to play Cordo's Instinct. Search the path deck for a card and place it at the top or bottom of the deck. Let's look through here. No. New Growth. That's interesting. Spirit, which I made a mistake earlier. I would love to talk with him, but I can't. Petrified Behemoth. The Grove Tender. I think I am going to put the Grove Tender on top. So I can deal with him next turn and hopefully find out some information. All right, so that goes up on top. All right. We're going to exhaust Pakoto, spend the charge to put 2 on there. We are going to do a connect test to the Veiled Axolotl Tack. Ooh, but if I do have 2 or more fatigue, I suffered injury. Oh, well. All right, we'll deal with it. So, 4 versus a 2. Yeah, figures. So I succeed with 3 total progress, so that goes up to 5. Now we get a Red Crest challenge effect. Nothing on the missions. Nothing here, nothing here. Here, if you have 2 or more fatigue, which I do thanks to you, I suffer an injury. So I discard these 2, a Cordo's Instinct and a Compassion, and I give myself an injury. Okay, we're going to spend 1 just to get it out. We're going to get a Gauze Blade out. And now we are going to try to search my deck, or scout my deck. 1-1. +1, I succeed, so I get to look at 2. Door Opener and Pakoto. Neither of those I want. I really want an aid card. And so I'll draw, and I get Syl Sketchbook. That's not terrible. Okay. Yellow Sun, I have to discard an energy. We'll do so. Nothing. Here, if there is a water feature in another area, which there is not. Okay, so that happens. We got to shuffle this up. All right, I am going to choose to rest, so I am fatigued from my injury. Cannot travel, so we're on to refresh phase. Get our energy back. Draw a card into a ranger badge. Very nice. All right, top of the round, we draw a path card, and hey, look, it is the Grove Tender. The Grove Tender is a being and a machine. Has 1 presence, comes in with 1 power, and has 3 harm and a 3 progress item. So enters play. Attach to the floor with the highest presence. If there is no flora in play, search the path deck and discard for the next flora and attach this machine to it. Either way, ready that flora. There you go. Response, when the floor is cleared, unattach this machine. It remains in play. Focus plus knowledge 3 to interpret the stream of information to read 136.2 and add 2 progress to the attached flora. Or I can do fitness plus conflict to carry the grove tender to attach this machine to another flora and ready that flora. All right, so let me read the entry for him coming in here. The grove tender. The rounded beetle-like metallic shell of this machine crawls up one of the towering petrified trunks within the arboretum of memory on its multiple spidery limbs. When it reaches a certain point, it burbles and chirps to itself. Then a metallic cuff hisses out of its torso and wraps around the trunk. The machine continues to chirp happily to itself as it reads the data stored within the tree. Use the grove tender to read information from plant life. Okay. All right, so I need to do that focus and test. Okay. All right. In the meantime, oh, he does come in with 1 power over there. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to spend 2 to get my ranger badge out. Comes out with 3. I'm going to exhaust myself, and I am going to choose to spend an awareness to add a token here and recover a fatigue, which is another ranger badge. All right, I'm going to try to connect with... do I want to try to connect with Pakoto? Sure, let's try to connect with Pakoto 1-to-1. +1, I succeed with a progress of 2. Blue Mountain, nothing here. If there's an active prey, which there is not. And nothing over here. All right, I will now exhaust Pakoto, spend 1 to get this up to 7, which sends the availed axolotl tack out of my hair. Okay. Oof. So I got to do this test. But I don't really, at the moment, have enough icons to have a good shot at it. So I got to be at least 4. So I want at least 1 more turn. Okay. So let's try to scout my deck. +1, I succeed with 2. Follow in footsteps or the vaulting rod. You know, I am going to put follow in footsteps on the bottom, and I will put the vaulting rod on top. I will then draw a card, which is the vaulting rod. I will spend 1 to get my vaulting rod out. And just so I have it, I'm going to use my badge to ready my ranger. I will then use my ranger, spend a fitness to put a charge over there. Okay, I'm going to end my turn now. I'm going to rest, which does that. And I cannot travel, so we are going to refresh. Draw a card. Cassendi technique. Right, what do we got here? We have got incendiary lilies. Okay. It is a feature, but it is a water feature, so I won't be able to use my Emberling to get rid of that. All right, we're going to exhaust ourselves and spend a spirit. We're going to put a charge on my ranger badge. Draw a card. Gauze blade. I'm going to do this focus test. So it is focus plus knowledge. I'm going to commit Stout-Hearted Guardian. Expedition logbook. Actually, not the expedition logbook, but deliberate. And because I have 6 cards or more in my hand, deliberate gains another knowledge icon and also an explorer icon. So this puts me at a 4 versus a 3. Whew, it was not a -2. Okay, so I did succeed at that. Oh, and to do this, that did fatigue me, so there's that. I get to read 136.2 and add 2 progress to the attached flora. The data running through the Grove Tender's processor begins to spill onto a makeshift interface you have rigged up. The random strings of numbers and letters begin to shift and reorganize as the machine interprets the data it has read. The script appears as glyphs and symbols that you recognize from other Estian ruins, but then miraculously, it forms something comprehensible. You're not sure how, but the information seems to reformat so that you can interpret it. Let's see here. So I read based on the keywords that it has. So this is just feature and flora. Petrified Colossus. The Grove Tender clicks and whirs, and then an electronic burbling, an avalanche of data spills onto the interface. For a moment, the information is far too chaotic to interpret, but then it resolves into a complex but orderly tree of data that you can navigate. You find yourself scrolling through a long list of entries that seem to be organized by whichever of the 425,336 residents logged the information. Which resident do you want to search for? All right, hang on a quick second. It says, so the number of residents is in blue, and it has a helpful little hint here. Information marked in blue may be useful to you outside of this entry. You may want to record it somewhere. So I am going to record that. So number of residents, 425. What was that? 425, 336. 336. All right, so now I have to choose who I want to look at. Input Scientist Henderton, Input Engineer Galt, Input Professor Borrell, Archivist Ral, or Hydrologist Abel. Well, let's start at the top. Let's go with the Scientist. You access the entry only to find a mishmash of indecipherable, jumbled symbols. Looks like this data has been irreparably corrupted. All right. Well, that was a shame. All right, well, did that. So I got my 2 progress on there. Well, I think I'm going to be stuck here a while. I am going to try this test on the Incendiary Lily. So awareness plus knowledge 2 to harvest the medicinal seeds. Careful not to gather too many. To add 1 harm to this feature and either heal 1 injury from a ranger or discard 2 harm from a being. And there's nothing bad that happens to me if I fail it, so 2 versus 2. Oh, gotta reshuffle. See if I can heal this injury off myself. Alright, so I think... I mean, we're still going, but I'm guessing I need to spend at least another day here, which would put me on day 19, and I think it ends on 20. So if I don't get what I need before my deck runs out, then I am going to have to... I'm going to have to stay here for another day and hope that I can get to it. Alright, 2 versus 2. Hey, 0. I succeed. So I get to heal an injury from a ranger. Alright, Blue Mountain, nothing, nothing here. If there is an active prey, let me just make sure. Nope, that is not a prey, so nothing happens there. Here, add 1 harm to an active water feature. That is the only active water feature. Oh, and I added 1 harm to it before, so it is at 2 of 3. Ouch. Okay. Well, we're going to be that way about things. Let's see if we can clear this out. We are going to use our last repellent spore, an expedition logbook, and 2 fitness to try to traverse there. So that is a 5-on-1. 0, I succeed. That's enough to clear this feature. Red crest, no red crest is out there. I will then use my ranger badge to ready myself up. Then I will exhaust myself, spend an energy. Let's put that back on the ranger badge. And recover fatigue, which is my Lambent's rig. That might be useful. All right. Exhaust the floor. Okay. I am going to be done with my turn. Oh. No, because if I do a test and it's a yellow sun, I won't have an energy. I was going to potentially connect with Picoto, but nope, we're done. Can't travel. I'm no longer injured, so I don't have to do that. So we're on refresh. Get my energy back. Draw a card. Another Emberling. Oh, and top of the round, draw a card. It is a Scavenging Sawtooth. So, wonderful. All right, first things first. I'm going to spend 2 to get my other Emberling out. So this way, both areas are illuminated. So if another one of those stinking axolotl attacks come out, I won't have to deal with them. Alright, we're going to exhaust Quiet, and he is going to go harry the Sawtooth out, clear him. Let us try to remember my ranger training. You know what? Oh no, that's the same thing I need. So yeah, nope, just that. Okay, I succeed, it's 1. Alright, that's not what I need. I need icons now. Draw this. Again, not what I need. Okay, red crest, nothing out there. Alright, well, I am running low on cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards left in my deck. So I think I need to be a little bit bold here. Oh, I just remembered my range of training, so I can't even do that test now. Shoot. Well, nothing for me to do now. Yep. Because I don't want to clear off the tree because I want to get the contender or the grove tender try to hit him at least one more time. I can't, there's no point because I'm not going to travel, so there's no point in going through there. So I guess I'm just going to end my, let's try to connect with Picoto just for the heck of it. 3 versus 1. 0. I succeed with an effort of 3, so he goes up to 4. Yellow Sun, spend an energy, spend an awareness. Nothing here, nothing there. Right, I am going to choose to rest, cannot travel, so refresh phase. Draw a card. It is following footsteps. New path card is Heaped Detritus. So it is a water feature, layer, water, machine, obstacle, illumination, and obstacle. Okay, well. Doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned because I'm not going to be going anywhere here. All right. Well, this is probably the last test I'm going to go because I'm going to get a chance to do because I am focus was my dump stat. All right, so I'm going to try this focus test again. 3 to 3 minus 1. Well, shoot. All right. Well, that was it. Those were the only 2 icons I had for the knowledge in my hand. I won't be able to do anything past that. So. All right. Yeah, well, we're going to end my turn. I don't think I probably have many of the knowledge icons in my deck, so I don't think I'll be able to do that test again, but all I've got now is to try to hope that I can find another icon or 2 and try the test one more time before my day ends. So we're going to rest. Draw a card. Oh, that is handy. That is 2 of those icons I need. Okay. All right, new card. Oh, we've got this? Slippery footing. The slick ground before you starts to slope, gradually at first, but then suddenly steep. You lose your footing, land uncomfortably on your backside, and start sliding downward. If you see this card while scouting, you can discard it. Nope. You may perform the following test. If you choose not to, resolve its fail effect. Fitness plus conflict 2. Catch a handhole in the rock and add 1 progress to the location and discard this card. If you fail, move all cards within reach to along the way and suffer an injury. So yeah, I'll do that test because what else am I going to do? All right, so I'm going to commit a Cassendi technique. Now I'll commit a Gauze Blade and 2 fitness, so I'm a 4 versus a 2. I succeed, so this gets discarded. Red crest, no red crest. And we shuffle up. All right. All right, my turn. Committing 1's door opener. And my 1 focus is the only icons I have. So 3 versus 3 again. +1. Woohoo! right. Well, let me deal with this first. So I get to read 136.2 again, which I won't read again, but basically I get to choose another person. So I did Scientist Henderton. I've got Engineer Galt, Professor Borel, Archivist Ral, and Hydrologist Abel. I think because I'm looking for information on the heart, I was hoping the scientist would tell me something, but I'm going to go with the archivist and hope that they recorded something. All right. It looks like Archivist Raul was involved in a lot of different endeavors. You can read more about the excavation of the underground tunnels and the things that were found while creating the breadth of the Arcology, or read about his involvement in the creation of the cage in the lowest parts of the Arcology. I'm going to choose to read about the cage. Okay, that's promising. You open the entry and begin to scan the small, tightly packed text. Quickly, you realize you've uncovered a wealth of information about the first days of the Arcology's construction. Each ranger may soothe one fatigue. Nope. If you are on the heart of it and have not gained or completed Contact Now, which I have not, continue reading. As you read word after word of densely packed text, your eyes grow tired. The words swim before your eyes and you begin to nod off. Then you see, or maybe hear, someone at the edge of your perception. In a moment of lucid dreaming, you suddenly see Spirit Speaker Nal standing before you. She speaks, but you can't make out the words. At that moment, another quake rumbles through the chamber, and you snap back awake. The vision fades. You know that Nal does not reach out to the rangers in the field on a whim. Whatever she has to say must be important. Perhaps if you could quiet your mind, you might strengthen your connection with her and receive a clearer message. Gain the Contact Nal mission. Okay. Contact Null. There we go. All right. You received an impression in your mind from Spirit Speaker Null. You think if you can find a quiet place to meditate and reach out to her, you might be able to more clearly communicate. You should make sure you have time left in the day before you do so. Focus plus connect to meditate on your connection to Spirit Speaker Null to move your Ranger token to this mission. And if you have all the missions on here, read that text. Okay. Well, I can't do that this turn because that is another focus test, and I do not have focus energy left. So, but one thing that does do is that does do I get to put 2 progress on here, and that's a 4. So that does discard that. Okay. All right, so we got a chance. We got a chance to do something here. So I am going to this needs to and then I do need to do the Yellow Sun challenge effects. So that, spend an energy, I'll spend an awareness. Mission, I gotta remember the missions here. You sense Nal's understanding. Add 1 progress to a being. Well, Pakoto, you get another progress. And then over here, this feature says, exhaust this feature, search the path deck and discard for a scavenging sawtooth and put it into play. Okay, scavenging sawtooth. All right. We will use Pakoto and that new there. We will put 2 progress on the sawtooth. We will try to connect to it. A 3 versus a 1. Oh, gotta shuffle that up. I succeed with 3 effort, which is enough to discard him. Red crest, no red crest cards on the board. So we are done. We are going to choose to end our turn. and rest. I'm not injured, so I don't need to do that. Nothing for me to do here but refresh. Draw a card into a second copy of Pakoto. And draw a new path card. It is a Petrified Giant. Enters play exhausted. So I would be able to maybe try to attach this guy to here, but I am not going to have the icons to be able to do it. So, all right, we are going to, that is an obstacle, we are going to exhaust the Vaulting Rod, spend a charge to exhaust that. We are going to do that test, which does fatigue me 1. Well, I think this is going to be the end of my turn. We are going to commit the only heart icon, connect icon I have with my 1 focus, so I am a 2 versus a 1. 2 versus a 1, it's only a -1, so I succeed, so I get to move my Ranger token here. And I get to read entry 1.118. You sit cross-legged on the rocks and begin to empty your mind. As you do, you hear Nal's voice echoing in the distance. It's strange, you can't make out the words she's saying, but you understand the meaning. She's asking if you're prepared to join her. But at the same time, she has warned that you should be rested and ready. Perhaps another day, you sense feelings of reassurance and understanding. You know Nal will be happy to wait until you are ready. Each ranger soothes to fatigue. Or now is the time. Well, that's going to lead to a whole new thing, so I am not going to be able to do that. So I am going to say perhaps another day. I soothe to fatigue. And that was that. I'm going to, I don't know. Now, I'm going to end my turn, rest. And then the next turn, I'll just get a path card. It's new growth. Comes in exhausted. It's all the same. Oh, no. New growth is a different entry than the trees. So let's read that. New growth. Among the roots of the towering petrified trees of the Arboretum of Memory, you find what can only be saplings growing. They are slight, slender things with only a few trunks and branches holding up shining greenish-purple leaves. But in them you can see the reflections of the giants around you. You study the trees further and see that each of the saplings has roots that stretch off across the ground, holding onto the surface of the soil with feathery growths. Intrigued, you follow one of these roots to the wall of the Arboretum of Memory. You expect to see the root shrink and end, or maybe trying to burrow into a crack on the wall. What you did not expect is the root growing up into the electronics of the wall, meshing and blending with them. Every so often, blips, symbols, and information ripple across the flow steel there, passing across the flow steel and down towards the root. You look long and hard at the lone root as suspicions begin to grow in your mind. Okay, well, yeah, so nothing I can do, so I'm going to choose to rest. I don't have any cards. My day ends. All right, so that is the end of day 18. I'm afraid I only have until day 20, so On day 19, I'm going to have to try to do this test and whatever goes on with that. Hope that I have enough information. Go down to the cage and get there and solve it before day 20 happens. I'm not feeling particularly confident in this one, folks. I'll be honest with you. But we will do what we can do. So as always, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I'll be back again with day 19 shortly. So you want to see more, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you like it, hit like. If I made any huge glaring mistakes, feel free to tell me in the comments. Otherwise, I will catch you soon, everybody. Later.